Welcome back to a family business podcast. What are we talking about today?
Dirty word in real estate.
What is that?
Agent attraction.
Uh-oh.
Rev share.
Yeah. Rev share.
That's it.
Yeah, agent attraction actually sounds kind of nice, doesn't it?
You could say network, or not network. What do they call them? Downlines, silos. Those are bad.
Car
bad.
salesman. I don't know.
Yeah. Rev share. Why do people think rev share is the dirty word in real estate?
I think because in the past, people would I'll just use the word, recruit agents to their company in hopes that they would pan out, which is a really bad strategy. And why it's not a bad word is that they encourage you to attract good agents or new agents that want to be good agents.
Or there's a common misconception that everybody cares about revenue share at the end of the day.
Yeah,
it's true. I think that the reason why I think a lot of people don't care about rev share is because a lot of people, especially from the traditional brokerage model, just don't even really comprehend what it is or what it can be because it's never something we've experienced. I mean, Brad and I were, and we're going to dive deep into this, but that was us. I mean, we're like, okay, well, Real gives us all these opportunities and all the things, and it just keeps getting better every year, and they keep having more offerings and et cetera. But I mean, we have stock options, et cetera. But when it came to rev share, we're just like, oh, that's kind of going to be a nice bonus, right? And we're 3 years in. We won't get into specific numbers, but what we make in rev share pays our mortgage, pays both of our car payments, and maybe a little additional depending on the month.
Yeah.
That's real money, guys.
It's real money, as Eric Hatch calls it, mailbox money. But it's very true. I mean, and it's mailbox money that you get it every month. But in order to be a good attractor and a good steward of the company, you also want to, when you bring people into the company, you also want to take care of them too, to make sure that they're doing okay. If there's anything that you can do for them. That's why I really think a lot of these other companies that have had a similar model, it doesn't work quite as well as their theory's been to bring as many people in as possible and hope that they stick.
Well, and I think that you see too is that people get too laser focused on potential attraction. And what happens there is that they don't do that next step that you said, is that they get them there, but they don't take care of them after. And then that's when you don't see the growth, and we say culture is overused all the time, but that culture there is installed. You have to take that next step in that second level.
Well, and I think that's why I say rev share is a dirty word, right? Because I think that in other companies that had the rev share component to it prior to Real, that is how it operated, right? And the goal was attract people so that you can make money off of them, right? Not, hey, this is an amazing opportunity for you and your business and whatever your goals are. And so the bonus of that is rev share, right? And I think that's unfortunate, right? I think it is, but it is also one of the things that attracted us to Real, because it is different in the way that rev share works. You get paid the most off of your tier one, which is the opposite of other companies. Other companies, at least how it always has been to our understanding, the other companies, you get paid the most off of your tier 5. So basically, like, it's a game, right? You like we just said a minute ago, you don't really care. You just want to fill those spots because you want to make the money. Well, that's not helping anybody in the long run, right?
I mean, and the whole point of revenue share, if it's done correctly, which Real's done a good job of, is to attract agents who are like you, right? I mean, that are good and that are full-time good agents, rather than try to get as many in as possible. That's why you get paid the most on your tier 1, is that those are the ones that are most like you. And it's really an easy thing. I mean, selling your company is gross. And I really think talking about all of what's positive.
That's why it's a dirty word.
Yeah. I mean, selling, but here's the difference. So selling is one thing, but talking about, which is selling too, is talking about how great your company is in a natural conversation is the way that you attract agents, rather than just trying to get people in the door.
And we were asked this numerous times. If you listen to last week's podcast, when we were in Miami, several times the conversation came up about your size of your network. Brad and I, at the time of the recording of this podcast, I think have 172 people in our network. And that has 100% been organic. We have not actively spent time trying to attract agents to Real. We have continued to do our real estate business. We, do our podcast, we do social media stuff. And because of that, people have contacted us or other people, at Real or in our office, and that's organically, turned into that. But the thing that I said, and I'm sure it looks like you have something to say on this, PT, but the thing that I said is I really feel embarrassed for that. I really feel that I am doing my friends that are in real estate, the people that I respect that are in real estate, the people that I see that are on what I would call the hamster wheel in their current brokerage and not getting anywhere. And you can tell frustrated and not enjoying what they do anymore. I mean, we should be having these conversations because maybe real isn't the right model for them or the best thing for them. But I think it's a disservice for us not to be having the conversation about it because of how much it's changed our lives.
Well, and it all comes out at the end too, after you've been in there. And you can go all the way back to our first podcast. Nothing's changed. Nothing, our perception, nothing has changed since that time because it's something that someone came across and said, hey, you need to check this out. And you took the risk, and it was the research that you did, everything combined into that turned out to be something that, it was something that you made the right decision. And so when someone approaches you in that aspect, hopefully they have the right mindset in for you. But you just hear it every time once they're here and they've experienced the pieces of it, they're like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah. I mean, everybody that we've brought into the company, everyone that we have attracted in our line one has loved Real. And a lot of people are worried about the training. A lot of people are worried about this and that and this. I can tell you that the opportunities for training, the opportunities for mentorship, you name it, you go right down the line, are greater than where we were at our previous brokerage.
That is true. There is not a person that we've attracted to Real that hasn't said, this is awesome. Why did I not do this sooner? Right. There's an agent in our tier one who was at our previous brokerage that took him, maybe a year to come on board.
Yeah.
And we won't call him out, but he'll know who he is. And, he's looking at expanding his partnership with someone else that he knows it's going to get their license because he loves the model so much and is so excited about it. But, shame on us because we really didn't push hard. We had a couple conversations, but then it goes back to like the ick, right? The dirty word. Like, it's like you feel like you're selling them something, but truly, I think the one thing that's really hit home to me, so we have an agent that just joined our network from California, and we had met her just over a year ago at a conference, her and her husband. Brad and I just went up and started talking to him. They looked like fun people, and we weren't talking to anybody, and they weren't talking to anybody. And they were drinking red wine. We were drinking red wine. So we felt we had something in common.
Right.
And then we later learned they lived really close to Paso Robles. So now we're really good friends because we're going to visit them. But, we just talked about, she was at Sotheby's and we were at Real, and we talked about why we made the switch and the differences and whatnot. And we kept in contact. And a couple months ago reached out to me and said, you know what, I'm ready to go. I think now's the time. I want to join Real. And, it was a little bit of a process to get her over. She's a luxury agent, and she, wanted to get that all set up. So she was ready to hit the ground running. And she made the transfer a couple weeks ago. And, obviously it takes you a couple days. I don't care how good you are at transferring brokerages. We'd never done it before, but she had never either. She'd been in her previous brokerage for, I think, 8 years. And it takes you a couple days to get your legs up under you again, right? To understand and just calm down. Once she did, she called me, and I told Brad it was like one of those defining moments again. Like, she called on, I don't know, a Monday night, a Tuesday night, and she said it's like 9:30 or whatever. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I just had to call you and tell you to do that. And then she said, I need you to know something. When you said to me, like, once this is done and over with and you're all settled in, that I'm just going to feel like this breath of fresh air. It's going to be like the biggest, like, free feeling. And like, I'm just going to be so relaxed and whatever. She goes, I feel it. I feel it now. I know exactly what you were talking about. I can't believe I waited this long, but I feel it. I am so excited about what's ahead. So just think about that for a minute. Why are we afraid to share this opportunity? Because someone thinks you're attracting them because of rev share, right? Well, you should get compensated. That's the whole thing. The whole basis behind rev share and what's broken with the traditional model is that you work and train someone or help them grow their business, and then the brokerage makes all the money off them, and then that's it. There's no, like, I want you, Brad, because this was brought up and somebody said this. It was in the Tuesday session in Miami. Somebody said, they said retirement. And in real estate, we just don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Why do we not talk about retirement? Why can you not ask a realtor, when are you going to retire?
Well, most agents work till they're 80 years old. And the reason why is they're not good with their money, number one. But no, they don't have any other income other than selling homes. I mean, that's it. And it's really easy work. If you want to call it that, you are telling other people about your experience that's changed your life. And there was a little while probably when we very first came over that a lot of people hadn't heard of Real, right? And well, if they hadn't heard of Real as of last week, they've heard of them now. But no, it's what an easy company to quote unquote sell, that we're going places, and who wouldn't want to be a part of this? But that's our job to explain like how great this company is. And I know that some people don't want to put pressure on people. Some people, you're not putting pressure on people. You're actually helping them change their life.
Well, and you care, and that's going to translate through. And we always talk about, okay, talking with consumers, right, and not making that weird. Well, it translates over on the other side as well. And I feel like a common misconception that realtors are always competing and so forth. But there's people that you truly care about out there, whether it's in your market or across the United States, that you're friends with, that you have feelings for, and that you feel that you have an opinion on potentially the best for them. And so if you feel that inside yourself, don't be afraid to reach out and start the conversation. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But at least you knew that you made that
Yeah,
conversation.
exactly.
And that's a really good point, PT. And I do truly feel like and the one we just were referring to, like it's like the longer we were with Real, the more we knew he needed to be here. We knew what it would mean for him and his family and how it was. But the thing that's interesting about it is when you go back to the dirty word rev share, is that sure we make, I don't know, $4,000 per year off of him. Okay. But also we help him to grow. And I think that's the thing that's why the traditional model is broken. You have a broker manager or someone managing an office that maybe they get bonused off of closed sales, or they get whatever. Okay. So you could have one or two, star performers that just kill it. And then that's how you make bonus or whatever. But they're still selling. Or if they're a broker manager that isn't selling, they're probably gone who knows where, because they're never around to help their agents.
Well, and it's really kind of a broken system, right?
Right.
I mean, where you have somebody that's your broker that's in the office all day, that hasn't sold real estate in years, has no idea how it really is out in the real estate business. But that's how the traditional brokerages are laid out. There's the broker that runs the office, that quite frankly, a lot of their agents, and this is not to sound arrogant, but a lot of their agents know more than they do when it comes down to the everyday real estate business. And that's what's great about sponsorship, which you're getting to, is that these are people that are their mentors that are getting compensated, not a ton, but they're getting compensated to help them out. It's just a way that the company says thank you back, which in the traditional brokerage model, you don't get that.
Yeah, exactly what you just said is 100% correct. So it's not that an agent doesn't want. So going back to like why people don't talk about retirement in real estate, it's because if you stop selling houses, if the market tanks, whatever, then all of a sudden your source of income is gone. Okay, so when it comes to rev share, like you want to help, like PT when he joined us. Okay, sure, we want to help him grow and we want to help him become the best version of himself that he can be, and carry on that tradition for the Bowie family and fourth generation realtor in our business, and continue to take it to the next level. But also on the flip side of that, in our previous model, all that time and energy that we were spending with him, the broker was making the money off it. We were making nothing, right?
Yep.
Like nothing, which that's all fine and dandy, but then go back to retirement and a business plan. That's a crappy business model, because now Brad and I, when we talk about retirement, what's our retirement? They're not going to give us money because we train PT to take and sell another.
You would hope that you have invested or have a
we're not
401k
talking
or
about
something
that
like
right now,
But
Brad.
yeah,
But the brokerage doesn't offer that.
But let me tell you something though, to your point, Andrea, most agents don't. And that's the reason why they work till they're 80 years old. I mean, this is like just for doing your job, you're getting paid. And the other thing too with RevShare is you're a shareholder of the company too. So what a great deal to be able to work at a company that you're a part owner of too.
Absolutely. No, I was just going to say basically what Brad just said, but yeah, it's a partnership at the end of the day. And what you're putting in, there should be some type of incentive, right? In my opinion, right? Part of you is, as Brad says, you're just doing your job, but we always go back to, put out in the world that you would expect back, right? Continue to put as much out and it will come back. And so if you do that, that's essentially what's being bundled up right here that we're talking about.
Well,
Exactly.
and also if you want to, our coach always says, if you're a douchebag and with a lot of money, you're going to be a bigger douchebag.
Right.
If you're a nice person, you're going to be a nicer person. And I think it comes back to impact, right? Like last week or 2 weeks ago when we were in Miami, I will have to say there's people that have networks of 3,000, 4,000 people, 5,000 people. But the craziest thing about them is the more we got to know them in those 3 days, we realized they're incredible human beings and they are doing so many things good in this world in regards to not for profits and different charities they're helping out and just different ways that they're having an impact on and so sure they live a good life because they have built networks inside of it, but also those people are learning from them, right? So I think that's a cool thing, but I also just go back to what I said before, like why is it that it's bad that if you help and train someone to grow their business and you continually help and train someone to grow their business, why is it a bad thing that the brokerage you works for rewards you for that? The agent that you attract is not paying any more out of their commission to have the rev share that's already calculated in. The company's doing that for you. So why is that a bad thing? Why?
It's not. And, I really think Real has made it not gross. I mean, so the way that they train their agents is, hey, we don't want anybody and everybody. We want the good agents. We want the good people. And more importantly, the good people.
Yeah,
Well, and I was going to say everybody's brainwashed. I think that's part
Yeah.
of it too,
it
right? I mean,
is.
it's part of what you've been told and what you hear and what you see, just like everything else in the world. But yeah, it's breaking the model or and so forth.
Well, because I think in some of those other brokerages, the cloud based or the other brokerages that have rev share models, I think that because it was a new thing, people just took advantage of that, right? And so, we've heard all kinds of crazy stories about people buying people cars to get in their network, or I mean, in other brokerages. None of that is tolerated at Real, not. And it goes all the way back. If you want to take it down, I mean, let's take proof over pudding. Joel, our VP of growth, always says, show me the proof. Well, here's the proof. Our CEO, Tamir, does not do that when he attracts people. Your offerings at Real are the same as the other person. You get the same splits, you get the same rev share percentage, you get the same stock options. I think that that's something to be said as well because it doesn't make you feel gross, right? Like, I just don't, I don't know. That was an issue for me. The other thing is that they changed recently in how rev share is paid. It used to be that you had to have so many people in your tier 1, 2, 3 before you could unlock the next tiers, right? Well, now they changed it where it's also production based.
Which is great.
It's amazing. So you can focus on sell, and that's why a lot of people don't collect rev share BT because they're too busy selling real estate. So then they don't have time to do the attraction. It happens organically, like what's happened for us, but they don't have time to really build that, right? So Real's like, okay, great. Well, we want you to get paid rev share. We're collecting this money and it's going towards the rev share fund. And us as a company want you as an agent to get it because that's part of our, perks that we offer. So, hey, we're going to make it easier for you to get it. Now, instead of having to have so many people in your tiers, you just have to cap. Then you hit elite. So if you're selling, what do we decide it is? You're maybe 20 to 21 homes per year. You're getting paid rev share on tier 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
If you sell 40-ish homes per
Yeah,
year.
that's about
And
right.
this is in our market, guys, where the
All
average
of your
price
tiers
point's
are
about
open.
250. All your tiers are open. It's not about how many people you
Yeah.
attracted in. You sold real estate.
Yep.
You
And
took care of your
That's
clients.
what's so cool is I am not aware, and I don't know everybody else's rev share model, so I have no idea. But that's what I really thought was cool at Real when they made that change, when they awarded producing agents. I mean, at the end of the day, we're selling real estate, right? I mean, that's really what this is it's a real estate company. And what a better way to reward your top agents when they're bringing in quality people and then opening up those tiers a lot quicker.
Yeah. Well, and you can just, I mean, this is the other thing I say to this all the time. Like, and I mean, I don't want to just attract everybody. And I mean that, like, I know that sounds crazy, but like, yes, I would get rev share, but I only get rev share if that person actually sells real estate. So if they're not a person that is coming to us and wanting to join Real because they want to take their business to the next level and they're excited about all the things that Real has to offer, or they're an agent that, has a good business and wants to continue that, I don't have any interest in just signing them up with Real so I can, because I'm not going to make any rev share off them. They don't want to show up. They don't want to learn. They don't want to grow. What's the point?
Right.
Just so you can have a person in your network? That doesn't make any sense for anybody.
Well, it's like rich dad, poor dad. I mean, the rich dad, understands the value in something, where the port head just wants something for show and
Yep.
so forth, right? It's kind of the division right there.
Yep.
I want
Yep.
people that want to grow, and we will pour into them to help them grow and change. Then we have something that is generational, like for us and for our family and our future generations. And that's a cool thing, right? And the other thing that I learned today, and I learned this, I was having lunch with an agent switching over, and they're currently in a rev share model. And the thing that was crazy to her is like, so, when you join and I'm saying this because I think if you're at a brokerage right now that has a rev share model or a stock, option model or whatever, I think you need to really, really think long and hard about if you want to stay there forever. If you're even possibly considering other options, I want you to really sit down and do the math on what it means for you to stay where you are. Because the thing that hit home to her is she's been considering this move to real for a year. She now has, once again, she has, she hit the top award section or whatever. And so she has more stocks, but they don't vest until the end of this year.
Mm.
So she's going to leave about $26,000 on the table just in unvested stocks. Whereas go backwards, if she would have already made the move that she knew she was inevitably going to make, it was just, everybody has to process it. Like she said, I would be money ahead at Real versus leaving that and starting over. But she also knows that Real's model and what it offers and the collaboration, all those things, she's going to make that up. But just think about that for a minute, right? Like, why would you keep staying there if you know you're going to leave? I know
Yeah,
it's
no,
hard, but
it
like
makes no
really,
sense. I mean, just do it. That
just do
was
it like
Nike,
Nike.
right?
Do it,
Yeah.
Nike.
But it's very tough, though. I mean, when you're at a place for a long time, which we very well know, you just kind of get blinded by where you're at. And like, not that our old brokerage was a bad brokerage. I mean, they were great for a lot of years. But, it's hard for the traditional brokerages and especially local ones that don't have the tech. They don't have those things. That's why age and attraction should be one of those areas that we should be concentrating on even more than what we do. That this is life changing for agents across the country. And why wouldn't you share that with the people that you know?
Yeah, I think what we would say is, if you have that feeling inside of you about somebody, just do it. Just reach
Yep.
out. They're not going to feel any differently about you at least caring about them at the end
Yeah.
of the day. So if you have that, write it down, or have a plan on how you're going to attack that, and just do it.
Yeah. And I think, PT, we've talked about this, and those of you who didn't hear our podcast that we did last fall with Eric Hatch, we talked about this a little bit on there. But like, it goes back to like when Brad and I made the decision that we made to move to Real, it wasn't, I mean, sure, yes, it was for us. But the biggest eye opener for us was when you came on board, and we just said to ourselves, going back to like, it's like retirement's a dirty word, I guess, in real estate. It's like, what were we setting you up for? Right. And we just couldn't do that. We didn't want you to be, as Brad, 23 years at that time down the road and be in the situation we were in, right?
Yep.
So I think that people, if you think rev share is a bad word and that's why you stay away from kind of that model, I like you said, I really think about that
Mhm.
for a minute. Like, people that you care about, how could it impact their lives? Like for Real, not only is our rev share something that you make and all the things, but it is willable. It is something you can, once you're here for 5 years, is that right? It's so much after 3 years and so much. You continue to make rev share after you retire, after you've
Yeah.
been. So, I mean, those are things. Tell me that that is not life changing for you. Like if you have a person, I was talking to someone too, like that has a mother that is ill and really wants to step away so that they can take care of their parent, but they can't because if they step away, they don't sell houses. Think about if that person had been with Real for the last 5 years. Again, it is life changing. It opens doors and opportunities that normal model doesn't do.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. And we're going to be more vocal about it. We've tried to be more vocal about it and the ick thing that everybody feels. But I just, again, go back to, we are doing agents we care about and people we care about in this industry a disservice when we are not being more direct and bold, right? Like our friend yesterday at church told us to pray bold.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna talk about Real boldly because
Yeah.
it is life changing.
And as very well you should. I mean, like going back to our old brokerage, I mean, great people, great company, but we need to be telling people how great Real is, how it has changed our life, right? So it has nothing to do with our old brokerage, with any other brokerage. I want to talk about Real. And I want to talk about how great Real is, that life-changing.
And just to echo that, RevShare still, even right now as I sit here, RevShare is still just a bonus.
Right.
I mean, it's a fantastic bonus,
Yeah.
but it is still a bonus.
Yeah.
And to quote my friend Dusty, and then I'm going to let PT close us out, Mr. Dusty Ogilvy, if that don't light your firewood, your wood might be wet.
Man of many words. Let me tell you that with Dusty.
I had to write that one down. Has he used that with you before?
He's got a bank full of great sayings.
Let me repeat that for you if you missed it. If that don't light your fire, your wood might be wet.
It's a great man right there.
I like it.
Absolutely. So if something struck a chord with you today, reach out. We love to talk. We love to have conversation because, if you don't, then nothing's going to go anywhere. So reach out, whether there's DMs or comments or we'll have a phone call conversation any day. That's why we're here. So with that being said, we'll see you in the next episode.
Peace.
Peace.